I'm Hartley Nuolisero. I'm the outreach coordinator for Sawtooth Mountain Clinic. And this video is about the effectiveness of different types of masks. And I'm going to show you a DIY trick that you can do at home to test and see whether the face coverings that you're wearing are doing a good job at blocking the spread of respiratory droplets that carry COVID-19. So we know that masking is one of the most effective tools that we have to help slow the spread of COVID. And this is why. The virus is spread primarily by traveling from person to person through the air that we breathe. For example, if I were to be infected with COVID-19, all I have to do is breathe out, cough, sneeze, talk, sing, yell, and on my breath, droplets that carry the virus would float out into the air and spread all around. But what if you were standing next to me? Well, I would be exhaling those infected droplets and you would be inhaling the same droplets. We don't actually want to be inhaling stuff that comes out of each other, whether that's a cough that has cold germs on it, or a sneeze that has the flu in it, or breath that's carrying COVID-19 germs, or even the pickled herring and onions that we ate at lunch. Now, viruses themselves are tiny, but the droplets that they travel on are bigger. So masking helps block the spread of viruses by blocking the spread of the respiratory droplets that carry the viruses. A good question to ask, though, is whether all face coverings are equally effective at blocking these droplets. The upshot? If a mask or a face covering is thick enough to prevent you from being able to blow out a candle, then it's probably thick enough to do a good job of reducing the spewing out of infected droplets. So what I did was just gather up a selection of face coverings that I have at my house. You've probably got some pretty similar things at your house too. So we'll be testing 2 different kinds of cloth face coverings, a buff, a bandana, and even a paper towel mask that I made. I'll put each one on and try to blow out a candle. Now, it's not scientific, but it is a pretty good demonstration of what works, how well, and what doesn't. So here we go. Let's start with the cloth face coverings because lots of people have these at home now. This one is my favorite. It's very comfortable. It fits under my chin, over my nose, under my glasses, and it's close on both sides. So let's give this one a try. Here's my candle. No wiggle at all on that flame. So that says that this mask is doing a really good job of blocking my breath. I'll show you the second mask that I have. Now the second one's a little bit different in that it's more form-fitted. It has a wire across the nose so it can fit a little more tightly. But it's the same in that it goes under my chin, over my nose, and it's closely fitted on both sides. So let's see how this one works. That one did a good job too. It also blocked my breath from blowing out the flame. So now a buff. Buffs are quite popular because they're light and they're comfortable, But you might have heard that they're not as effective as other types of face coverings. Let's find out. Over my nose, covers everything. I've got my candle. Okay, so that one, there was more air coming out. We could tell because the flame was wiggling. It didn't go out though. But does that mean that buffs aren't really worth wearing? I don't know. Hang on, because watch what happens when I double it. That really changed it. So that's the simple act of folding it over impacted the amount of air that was able to get through. Now, my son works in the food service industry, and buffs are quite popular there. This is his pro tip. He says that when they're after you've worn them a while, they can sort of start sliding down. So he suggests that you bunch it up over your nose. Like that. And the extra fabric up here will make it hold on a little better. So this is just a bandana. I'm wearing it bank robber style. Let's see how this one does. Not much. That one seemed to work too. Now I'm going to try one that you might not have seen. A paper towel mask. So check this out. I made this in about 2 minutes with a paper towel, a 2-inch strip of printer paper, 2 rubber bands, and some staples. I've put the link to the video that'll show you how to make this in the description below. So check that one out. Let's see how this does. Again, this one works as well as the other ones. It fits under my chin, fits over my nose, fits tightly on the sides, and it's blocking enough air that I can't blow out the candle. So what about these? These are the medical masks that you might have seen when you've come to the clinic. Maybe you've seen people wearing these. I'm sure you have. We need to reserve these for medical personnel because there's still not an abundant supply of them for everybody. But you know, I think we kind of just proved that that's okay because the other ones work well too. The reason that they worked well is because of the layering. So let me show you what on the cloth layers. There's the outside, there's the inside. Outside, inside. We layered the buff. The bandana was folded in half. It had 2 layers. The paper towel mask even had multiple layers. The more layers, the more fibers there are to capture respiratory droplets before they get loose in the air. What does this mean though for masks with vents? Well, that can be problematic because those vents are intended to make it easier for the air that you are exhaling to get out of the mask. And that's the exact opposite of what we want to have happen. We want your breath to have to weave around through the obstacle course of all those fibers that the material is made of. The more fibers that it encounters on the way, then the more droplets that will be captured and stopped. The more droplets that are stopped, the fewer infected particles there will be that escapes and then end up floating around in the air. The fewer infected particles there are floating through the air, the safer we all are. Now, if you'd like to dive deeper into the science behind this, please check out the link in the description below that's titled Fundamental Protective Mechanisms of Face Masks Against Droplet Infections. You may need to try out more than one kind of mask. Find the one that's most comfortable for you, because even the most effective, efficient medical grade mask won't work if you don't wear it. And if it's not covering both your nose and your mouth. So make it comfortable, because only dolphins get to wear masks on the top of their head. Whichever type of face covering you decide to go with, keep it clean. But don't feel like you have to be washing it all the time with every wear. Launder your face covering if it gets dirty or if it starts to smell off. But don't overwash. That can actually begin to degrade the integrity of the fibers. And we want those fibers to be tightly woven. It's a good idea then to have several masks that you can put in rotation and leave several days between each time you wear them. That way, any germs that happen to be on them will die, and then you're good to go for the next wearing. Wearing a face covering when we're going to be around people that we don't live with is one of the most effective things that we can do to help slow the spread of COVID-19. Combine that with physical distancing of at least 6 feet, practicing good hand hygiene by keeping our hands clean and staying home when we get sick. This is the recipe for COVID stopping success. Thank you for watching. And remember, we've got a lot of other videos on our YouTube channel now. And if you'd like to subscribe, you'll get an alert every time we release a new one. Then you'll never miss out. Take good care.